It's another time out for the Program International Forum, and with this I say welcome. Today our focus turns to one of the world's most pressing and heartbreaking crises, the Israel-Hamas war. A conflict whose echoes are being felt far beyond the Middle East. And at the heart of this ongoing tragedy is Gaza, a small strip of land now caught in the crossfire of political, military, and humanitarian storms. With homes reduced to rubble, families displaced, and basic necessities growing scarce. UN ambassadors have condemned Israel's plans anyways to take control of Gaza and the city, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insisted it was the best way to end the war. During a press conference, which Netanyahu said was intended to puncture the lies, the Israeli leader said the planned offensive would move fairly quickly and would free Gaza from Hamas. He also claimed Israeli hostages held in Gaza were the only ones being deliberately starved, and denied Israel was starving Gazans. Well, Gaza's fate hangs in a fragile balance as the guns roar, and of course the world debates. We ask big questions. What future holds or awaits Gaza and its people amid this unrelenting conflict? With this, I say welcome once more, and we'll reiterate this to make sure that you know what we're about on this raging storm and big questions that may be boggling your mind. Well, we've got analysts here, political analysts, to dissect this and take away the misery of all of this. The Israel-Hamas war that has been on, and the need to find a lasting solution to resolving this issue. And my name is Philip Omogyupo, and with me from my extreme left is Honorable Frank Amiga, a lecturer at University of Benin. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
Of course, I have another smart lecturer, both are from the academia, and he's from the Ambrose Allen University, Ekuma, Ibrahim Momo. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon, very esteemed viewers.
Well, it's quite awesome to have you here physically in the studio. The last time I checked, you were with me via Zoom, and I hope you didn't have any chaotic issues, traveling down from that way down to Benin City. How was it?
This is Nigeria. Anything goes, this is Nigeria. So
all right.
We have stopped complaining.
Okay.
We're hoping for the best.
Well, we don't think the road is as bad as the way it is in Gaza or within the war conflict between Hamas and Israel.
That's why we're not complaining.
All right. So let's have your bite on what is happening so far, in the war. And basically, Gaza seems to be at the crucible and being heated. Will you say from frying pan to fire this time around? So how do you perceive this for Gaza? Ibrahim.
Okay, thank you. The first point to note is that Gaza is a wound, it's a sore that the world is papering over. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, the world rose, led by the UN and of course the US, and fought to liberate Kuwait. Even when Slobodan Milosevic, former Yugoslavian president, thought that it was his country to do the way he liked. He was decimating people in Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia and Herzegovina, all part of the United Yugoslavia. The world rose up and held the man to account. But it appears that when it comes to the issue of Gaza, up until recently, yes, I know, like what we have seen in the news, the French President Emmanuel Macron, the Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, the European Union, and just yesterday we're hearing the Australian Prime Minister, and of course the Canadian Prime Minister. They have all now said that based on what Israel, the war crimes, if you may, that Israel is committed on the people of Palestine and particularly Gaza, they are now going to recognize Palestine as a state, so as to give it the rights that other states confer. Because what Benjamin Netanyahu has succeeded in doing thus far is to kill, maim, destroy, and decimate hospitals, churches, mosques, killing over 61,000 people, civilians, mostly women and children, and nobody is doing anything about it. It is that if you made that crime that the world is about to put a stop to. And so it is committing genocide on two levels. First, it is bombardment, ethnic cleansing, killing people because of their ethnicity, and then it is starving them as a means of committing genocide.
Yeah.
You know, so these are the issues happening in Gaza particularly, and in Palestine, larger Palestine, that the world is now waking up to. So oftentimes, the argument that, in fact, in your intro, you made that you still alluded to it, that it's going to invade Gaza City as a way of finally removing or Hamas. But the question is, when Israel was imposed on Palestine, was there Hamas? The Israelis took over Palestine the day after Palestine got independence from the UK. That was 1947. And there has been a series of war. Hamas was only established in 1983, I think. Mid-1980, that's where it was established. So it's something that has occurred for over 70 years. The excuse now is Hamas. Hamas, yes, they are wrong. They are criminal in their conduct. They committed war crimes in their conduct of October 7, 2023. They committed war crimes, invading, killing people, innocent civilians. But since October 7th, every day for the last over 400 days, the Benjamin Netanyahu-led security cabinet has been committing the same war crimes.
Although there were days they had ceasefire. When you said every day.
Yes, no, I'm saying every day since that time.
Okay.
From that time till now.
They didn't commit crime during the ceasefire, don't
Yes. From that time till now, there has been this, what Hamas did on October 7, 2023 has been done continuously. Even till date. And they're now telling us that they're going to now invade. After destroying about 89% of infrastructure in Palestine, destroying roads, destroying electricity.
Deliberately?
Deliberately, yes. Criminal, not just deliberately, even criminally. Sewage system, water systems, housing, hospitals, place of worship, killing even journalists. In fact, up to 2 days ago, yesterday, I think.
Yeah. Staff of Al Jazeera.
Four journalists of, who are in the employ of Al Jazeera were killed. They claimed that one of those people was working for Hamas. What about the other 3 journalists? Because 4 people were killed. Because, you know, it's easy to give excuse. So I think that good thing for me is that the world is now waking up. You know, because of my background in international relations, you know, I often wonder how we make laws that some are, you know, they say in the animal farm, say all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That even though we have what we call international law, which people study at the postgraduate level, there you have an LLM, you know, on the international law, matters in law. So there's an LLM international law. You have international law that people even study, that's supposed to be in practice. You have international humanitarian law that defines the rights of human beings, even during war times. You have seen that one country, led by Benjamin Netanyahu, even who the International Criminal Court has even declared declared wanted for war crimes. He continues to carry out all manners of war crimes with nobody saying anything about it.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's quite a very huge bite you just made there. Well, let's see how you ripple over that, because I remember vividly when we started this, you know, the issue about the Israel-Hamas war. You know, do you see these violations by, as alleged, you know, by the Prime Minister Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, as what the world can, you know, turn the other eye from?
Yes, I like the direction or dimension my colleague here used, but a point that should be corrected: Hamas is not a country. Hamas is not a place. Hamas people are terrorists. So
like he said.
Yes. It's unfortunate we're now saying war between Israel and Hamas. I feel so constrained to discuss it like this.
Okay.
Because if the main country, Palestine, had agreed with Israel that the Hamas be decimated. Up till now, I keep on trying to look for news to find out whether the Palestinian government has ever spoken anything about, against, or in support of Hamas. They're quiet. These are terrorists in your country. And the Gaza Strip, commonly that's where they will hide. I think over a long time on this floor, we have been looking at various ways that Israel as a country has killed some, what I call them, innocent persons. Maybe in the hospitals, because we know that the Hamas dug a tunnel underneath some hospitals. So, and they were using those patients, children, as shields.
Hiding among unsuspecting public.
Yes. So, I may not know fully. Maybe that was the same case that happened. There were actually 6 journalists that were killed. 6. So, whether they were still disguising like journalists, I wouldn't know. But those right there will know better. But I want to say that it's a war situation. In Benin, they will tell us, Okwemo say, war is not a beauty to behold. This is a war situation. And the worst of things can happen.
Some will say it's fair, all is fair.
Yeah, all is fair.
During the war.
So there's no need to begin to be sentimental about it. My greatest disappointment is in the government of the Palestine. That up to now, if, for instance, we have in Nigeria, Boko Haram, or this, what do you call them now? X-Men, killing people. They will now begin to say, maybe another country, Cameroon, will be fighting the militants, these X-Men. The Nigerian government will fold his hands and be looking. So if Hamas is a challenge to Palestine, then the government should speak up. If otherwise, they are being backed up by the Palestinian government. So it should be, what would have shown sympathy to the Palestinians is war between Israel and Palestine. So up to now, the Hamas live in Palestine. What efforts has the government of Palestine put in place to ensure, in collaboration with Israel, to fully decimate the Hamas? Nothing whatsoever. And we are here in the studio saying people are dying. People, of course, will die. Before they launched an attack on Israel, very uncalled for, what was the response of the Palestinian government? Nothing. Now, Israel is fighting back. The value they have for one Israeli may be 100 of any other person, maybe. And again, Benjamin Netanyahu said it openly and publicly that Hamas started the war, but they will end it. And that's what is playing out. So if we are really concerned that people are dying unjustly here and there, let the Palestinian government come up with a statement that these are terrorists, that they are overwhelming us. We are looking for a way out for other countries to help us to stop their terrorism. So going around the same circle, all these thoughts should be channeled towards the Palestinian government.
All right. They say all is fair in war.
In war, yeah.
And that's what is being said.
That's not what they say.
No.
All is not fair in war.
Okay, but I said that to say this, looking at the war crimes that have been committed so far, we can't turn our eyes away from that.
No, apparently there's no war crime.
No, we can't turn our eyes away from that. But let's look at what the demands that the Israeli government, is making.
Yes.
Now, the Israeli leader said there are 5 demands, which includes, number 1, that they should cease the fire. If Hamas can cease fire, and also release the hostages. There are about 20 hostages, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And then they, as the Israeli government, will take over security of Gaza. And of course, also, among the demands is that they will raise a civilian population in Gaza. Now, are these demands too much for Hamas to attend to?
Well, I think that it's important that we know that in the absence of law, what you have is chaos, a return to the state of nature. And even those who set fire in their own houses because they think that it was set fire in somebody else's room in the house they live, should also know that the fire you are setting in that room can spread. You know, it's only a moment I would say where the fire I set was the one at that place. Only though the can of fuel was coming with me, leaking with me. The one that is now burning here, I don't know where that one came from. The one I set up, you know, it's only someone who at that level I would think like that. And I think that's where maybe Netanyahu is tending towards, you know, with all due respect. Look at the demands that you have highlighted, that Hamas should stop firing. The question is, who is firing? The world is, this is a genocide that is being global, that is being covered in real time. Thumbs up to the international media, and of course to ITV, because you guys always, not only are you doing this kind of analysis, you also cover the news. So thumbs up to the media. This is a globalized, televised, real-time coverage of a genocide that is going on. This is the most well-documented genocide in world history.
Don't forget Hamas is holding hostages.
I'm looking at it. You have
so what's wrong in releasing the hostages?
No, you have listed about 4 demands. Let me address the first one. In the issue about Hamas should stop hold fire.
Yeah.
The question is, who is firing? The world knows that the bombardment, the killings that is going on, even at innocent people who are gathered in places that the GHF, that is sponsored by the US and Israel, say they should gather for food items. Food, the basic necessities of life. That they know who is killing them. We have video evidence. We have seen American reservists. We have seen Israeli reservists who have left in anger at what the war crimes going on, what they are saying. We have seen what national media, even the CNN, the British BBC, Al Jazeera, Sky News, British Sky News, we are seeing what they are reporting in terms of the war crimes that are going on. So there's no doubt as to who is firing.
Okay.
On the issue of, I thought you
go ahead, go ahead.
On the issue about the issue of releasing of the hostages. Now, we should remember that those hostages were over 100 before. I think they were about 147, if I'm not mistaken. Now, those hostages, some were released. The question to ask ourselves is that at what point were those ones, the majority of them have been released, at what point were they released? Was it during bombardment or during when they had truces? The clear fact is that it was only during when they had truce, when there was peace, humanitarian, stoppages of the war. That is the only time that prisoners were released, or all these hostages were released. And if we have to do a comparative study, there are people in the course of 2023 and today, and before that, just between 2023 and now, in the last 20 months, over 12,000 Palestinian civilians have been arrested on administrative detention. That's what they call it, quote unquote. So we're talking about releasing hostages. Is it only the Palestinians that are holding Israeli hostages? Aren't there people who are in Israeli? We have seen stories, reports, and evidence. And I'm sure, even if he supports the war crime that Netanyahu is committing, but he also knows this fact that the Israelis are holding Palestinians in much larger number than the 20 that are referring to here. The last time there was a peace from Kaitos, there was a three-stage peace accord that was signed. Okay, the first one was for 51 days.
Okay.
After that 51 days, you release. In the course of that 51 days, negotiate for the second stage. Towards the end of the first stage, Netanyahu said no more second stage. Release all the hostages or we continue the bombardment. Okay,
but don't forget Hamas is a terrorist group. Like what has been established. It's not a country. So are you saying just like the Nigerian government and the Boko Haram sect? That is the Boko Haram sect that should give conditions to the government?
There's what we call perceptive.
What's wrong? Do you see anything wrong if the Israeli government goes against Hamas to ground it to powder if it refuses to release the hostages?
You see, this is their statement to end Hamas. What is Hamas? What is Hamas? Are those not Palestinians, a Palestinian group?
Terrorist group.
A terrorist group in Palestine made up of Palestinian citizens. Do you understand? It's like, the example that is convenient to use.
Yeah,
is to say Boko Haram.
You made mention of the fact that
use Boko
even
Haram.
the leader is even committing war crimes. But do you also don't you also see Hamas as a terrorist group?
No,
already dominating in that.
I said that in the course of my analysis here.
So should they be resisted?
No, I think let us not do leader questions. Because you have a reason, a duty to inform and educate our people, not to misinform them. So the issue is this. When we use the example of Boko Haram, very good. But why are we also using the example of IPOB or of the militants in Niger Delta? Are they not non-state actors? Are they not violent non-state actors? Does it mean that because they are violent non-state actors, the solution is decimation?
Is that a basis of comparison?
No, you are saying that
if you mention
militants, international law,
as side by side with terrorist groups.
There's a word for it. When you look at the international system,
yes,
there are actors, there are states. That's the primary the countries, states. Those are the primary actors. There are other actors. You have international governmental organizations. You have non-governmental organizations like Red Cross, like Human Rights Watch. You have another actor we call the violent non-state actors. These are not states, they are not countries, they are not governments. They are violence, but they are acting within the states and their reach extends beyond states.
Okay.
Now, Hamas is one of those groups.
Okay, let's get your reactions in all of this.
Let's accept it now. I'm going to make a proposal to you. You are supporting Hamas. I'm supporting Israel.
No, that's a
wait.
I don't support Hamas. You can't say that.
I have the floor.
He cannot be supporting a terrorist group.
You have accused me.
He cannot be supporting a terrorist group.
And there's a pushback.
No,
you don't accuse me.
You react to it. So now we are making a case for a terrorist group. I am not party to it. If a child steals his father's money, and the way the father is beating the child, a neighbor can come, you want to kill him? How much did he steal? Please leave him alone. That's one side. The other side of it, if that same child goes to another locality to steal, in fact, nobody can determine how much beating they'll give to him. If you are looking at Hamas, I know you are saying they are Palestinians. If they were having issues with the Palestinian government or people, we can say, no, don't kill them. But now you left your country and start invading another country, and you are not coming back to say there should be a referee. There should be a referee. Anything you see, you bear them. So there are two different cases. If Boko Haram is unleashing terror on Nigerians, and if the Boko Haram members are Nigerians, we can say, okay, let's treat them with kid gloves. They are our brothers and sisters. But they live here for another country. Let's say Burkina Faso. Anything you see, you bear it.
But don't forget the fact that in the course of this war, civilians are dying.
No, it's
a war.
Don't forget the fact that a lot of persons are being stabbed.
No,
that's why it's a war.
It doesn't matter to him.
Shouldn't this bring some reason why the Israeli government should find a lasting solution?
You don't beat up a child
without going to the next level, because what they are planning now is to find a way to go to the strongholds, the two leftover strongholds in Gaza. And there are protests in Israel as we speak that the government shouldn't go into Gaza to that point. Why? Because the hostages could be feared killed in the process. So don't you think this is what the Israeli government should be careful about? Otherwise, it's going to escalate this.
There's no care or being careful about it. The people you are dealing with, they are not reasonable people.
But the hostages you want to
Yes,
secure,
Can
you secure them if you explode
those
cities?
cities?
Are you considering the vulnerability of the hostages in the cities that the government wants to explode in few hours from now? Are you considering that?
I will support that move. Anything the Israeli government wants to do, let them do. Because I've earlier stated that the Palestinian government is not saying anything. If, as they want to go the second stage or the next stage, now the Palestinian government will call the Israeli government, please, we have 1, 2, 3 challenges. Can we do it this other way? But the government of Palestine is not doing anything. So we can't be here wasting our energy supporting or not supporting him. The president is there. He's not saying anything. So I shouldn't bother myself as to the next level that Israel will take. It's not my concern. So let the government of the people, if he cares about his people, will say to the Israeli government, please, I will know their hideout. Two of you should take your torch and candle and follow me. I will show you where they are. So that the innocent Palestinians will be exonerated from the killings that will take place. But the government is not saying anything. So Israel can threaten.
Okay.
They are threatening, they want the response of the Palestinian government. And up to now, they're not saying anything. That's the way I say it.
Well, that's the way it goes, but we will be taking a short break, and when we come back, we will be looking deeper into these issues. As we see, families of the hostages, are really protesting alongside, other citizens of Israel, saying that the government should not, bombard the city of Gaza to the point where the hostages might be feared killed. And looking at the need for the hostages to be secured alive, and the need for the civilian population not to be in this struggle where many will be feared killed. The United Nations and of course the members have been up against Israel to make sure that they find a lasting solution to avoid entering deeper into the city in order not to cause havoc in all of this. We'll take a short break and then we'll come back and say all of this. To stay. Well, it's been a tussle, big conflict there, having the Israel and Hamas war, and of course Gaza's fate on the balance, what should be happening in the next few hours or days as regards the plan of the Israeli government to bombard the cities to make sure that they are able to, clear the city off from the Hamas terrorist group. But, well, I still have my guests with me. In the persons of Honorable Frank Amigo. Big thanks for sustaining your presence. And of course, also the lecturer from the Abrasal University, Ekwama, who is Ibrahim Momo. Thanks for sustaining your presence.
Thank you.
But let me ask this critical question to you, Ibrahim. We want to see what is Hamas as a terrorist group? What sense are they trying to make out of this? Because they seem to be hiding in unsuspecting public, just to cause mayhem, just to cause more havoc. And they could be triggering something beyond what we are saying. Can you attempt on that?
You see, one of the issues with violent non-state actors is that they try to use violence to achieve whatever purpose or goals they want to achieve. You see them, some of them they try to, like the first, what we call terrorist groups. The first terrorist group known in the world was the IRA, the Irish Republican Army in Northern Ireland. They were fighting from independence from the UK. They were called terrorists. That was the first group ever designated as a terrorist group in the world. But what was their goal? To independence from the UK. You have seen the Lord Resistance Army who say they are killing in the name of Jesus in Uganda. You have seen Boko Haram killing people. You say you want to say education is haram, it's forbidden. On the basis of that, you are killing people. There cannot be any logic to madness. It can't be logic to madness. So there's no way to justify the criminality of Hamas. There's no way to justify. In the same vein, when you now have state sponsors of terrorists or terrorist states, like you are seeing with Israel, logically, you cannot really justify it, except maybe for ulterior motives. You can't really justify criminality is criminality, no matter how highly placed the criminal is.
Okay, how can the world make Hamas answerable to their crimes?
Of course, the ICC has already declared their leaders wanted for war crimes. It is not only Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, and Gallant that were declared wanted.
Okay, but
even the Hamas leaders were declared wanted.
But don't you see,
including the one that was killed in Tehran by Israel.
Okay, don't you see the efforts by Israeli government as a way to make them answer for their crimes?
No, it is only those who are deceived by Netanyahu propaganda. I cannot appreciate that in 20 months, what they could not achieve in 20 months, after killing over 51,000 people, civilians, mostly women and children. What they could not achieve in 20 months, when are they going to achieve it? Nigeria's fight against IPOB, against Boko Haram, against militants, what did they achieve with it? Kinetic, this is security now. Kinetic measures, what does it achieve? So I think that Hamas needs to be decimated. Their leaders and members need to be held accountable. All criminals, including those currently committing genocide in Palestine too. Those criminals that people are supporting. If you go, though it's becoming fewer, the number of people are supporting them. Those days the UK used to support them. Now they're not supporting them again.
Okay.
France used to support them, they're not supporting them again. European Union. These are the educated, the Western world. If they are seeing that this indeed is genocide, this indeed is war crimes, those who are still supporting it, they know what they're supporting it for. Obviously, at least the world has opened, their eyes are open. On Saturday, there was a Security Council meeting that was called because of this, the genocide by starvation that Israel is committing. Last Saturday, today is Tuesday. Yesterday is Tuesday. On Saturday, a Security Council meeting was called. And Friday night is Saturday morning. And that issue was clearly spelled out. It was only because of the U.S. All 14 members of Security Council voted against Israel. It was only the U.S. that made the motion not to be carried. These are public information. So the world has woken up to the reality of what's going on, even though some are still in denial.
What makes you think that the killings are not even masterminded by the terrorist group? Because that's what the Prime Minister was even saying. But those killings, were even the trucks that held the aids, for the people that were being starved. What makes you think that it's not the group that will even intercept it?
No.
And then in the process,
we have what we call the
kill this person,
Gaza humanitarian
giving the
fund.
impression that it was the Israeli government that did that.
There's one powerful thing about the media.
Okay.
It can be used for propaganda.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Let him respond to that.
Okay, take it again.
What makes you think that the Israeli government, the Hamas, let's get your point of view, as regards the protests. I think I'll leave that for you to get over. As regards the protest in Israel, because let's make sense out of what the Israeli government is planning to do, mostly the Israeli leader. Because if you push to the cities, there could be an attempt that the hostages that you are trying to even secure could be feared killed.
Yes, I'm sure all of us in the studio here, we are civilians. For the Israeli government to take the next action, they would have drawn up strategies. They are not killing indiscriminately. They are not.
They are not killing indiscriminately.
They are not.
But people are dying in the process.
They will die, but they are not killing indiscriminately. Otherwise, there will be sporadic shooting. Everybody is going to be killed. Any moving object, you shoot at sight. That's not what they are doing.
Probably you are not there. That's why you are thinking that they are not doing it indiscriminately.
That's what I said.
Because if you were there, I think you're going to have a different thought.
We are not military officers to say, okay, this is the theater of war. This is how to do it. I don't know it.
What makes other countries against Israel in this matter? And leaving only U.S.?
Yes, you can also imagine it. Why would U.S. still support Israel?
Don't you think U.S. has an interest?
All these other nations that voted against Israel also have interests.
Are you not aware that the U.S. and the Israel government, they've been together and basically they have an interest?
Obviously. What is
Gaza?
common denominator for all these things is everybody is trying to show some level of humanity. Even the protesters in Israel, it's better to imagine it than to have a family member incarcerated to that extent in the hands of terrorists. If the Palestinian government held them hostage, they can think about better ways of resolving it. But now you are dealing with masked individuals. You cannot determine where they are from and all that. They are not uniform to say this uniform they are wearing belongs to some country. So it is obvious to me that in terms of the human face, in Israel especially, that there are people are still held hostage. So they want the government to create some bit of ceasefire, to not also launch out as they are planning, because they have a direct stake in it. So I'm of the view that even in ordinary violence, you don't just wake up and start shooting. You waste all your bullets. So I'm sure that in an attempt, just as they invaded some hospitals, it became clear that the Hamas were hiding underneath. And they were using the patients or civilians as shields. So how would the gun or the bullet determine who a civilian is from that of the terrorist. And it's unfortunate that he died, especially the CIS journalist. Quite unfortunate.
Okay. Thank God. He has used a good word. He has used a unfortunate. I like that, actually. I'm happy.
Okay, thank you.
I don't hope to see you on stage like this again. So, as I was saying,
yes.
we are decent people. We allow one person to talk at a time. We are not fighting over anything. I'm a Nigerian from Benin City. So
you are not an Israeli.
I'm not Israeli. But I can
even
see
though you support the Israel.
With the lens of war, you can see that, that's what I said in Benin. That's the best language I understand. There's nothing beautiful about the war. So once it starts, you cannot prevent from starting. The way it will escalate, you cannot control it thereafter. Put differently, you cannot beat up a child and ask the child how and how not to cry. I also quoted Benjamin Netanyahu that Hamas started the war, but they themselves will finish it. Is that playing out now? So I'm not surprised that U.S. is in support of Israel, because they're like 5 and 6.
All right.
So anything Israel does, U.S. must support.
Okay. Let's get your perspective, Ibrahim. What, in your perspective, should Hamas do to make sure that this issue is, a close?
Well, for me, one of the issues I've advocated for is the disbandment of Hamas.
Good.
It gives the war criminals in Israel the excuse to keep on killing people. That is what, the only thing you hear in Netanyahu's mouth is Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. That's the excuse. You don't have any other excuse, any other justification for the war crimes. Only thing you say. So for me, what I've advocated for is the disbandment of. I don't think there should be Hamas should even play a role in the post-war Palestine, because criminality, no matter who is, that's where I differ from other analysis. Criminality, no matter who is committing it, is criminality. Whether it is Hamas or whether it is Netanyahu, criminality is criminality. So I think that the first basic thing Hamas need to do is to disband. It cannot be the excuse for the decimation of Palestine, of Gaza, and then now still have a say in its reconstruction or rebuilding.
Okay.
So that is
what do you see as the objective of the Israeli in this?
Well, I think basically it is land grab. And when you have people who have such criminal, they say power corrupts. And when you have absolute power, it corrupts absolutely. So when you have you see what? Israel had an elected cabinet, and then when this war started, Netanyahu dissolved the cabinet and set up what we call a security cabinet, a 4-man team. Not the one that we elected, a 4-man team that is running Israel. Even the citizens' protest doesn't matter. Even the families of the hostages doesn't matter. So what Netanyahu wants to achieve are two, basically. One, for Palestine, it's a land grab. Two, because he has been convicted of corruption and he was about to be sentenced before this was started. So what is preventing him from prison locally in his country
is this war.
Is this war. So the longer the war continues, the
more safe haven he has.
Yeah. So he has every motivation, either it is the land grab, which is international context, or the prevention from imprisonment, which is the local context. He has every reason to continue the war. So that, for me, those are the two things he wants to achieve in the war.
But don't you see him as the right peg in the right hole, as defending the country?
Well, you have to
because you can imagine if he isn't there, would it have been worse for Israel?
I doubt it. I like my senior brother. He always talks about the issue of Okuwe. So how can war not be good?
You wanted to speak the language.
Yeah, how can it not be good when it is not good?
Okay.
So it cannot be. Is Israel safer today? Had the people than it was before the war started? The answer is no. Is the people of Israel, are they happy with Netanyahu? Okay. They are seeing the protests. In fact, what he is even doing now, which is very critical, I think the media is not saying that enough, is the banning of media coverage both from Israel and from Palestine. They have killed over 200 journalists in Gaza, over 200, across media organizations.
Although Netanyahu denied that anyways.
But the evidence are
banning
there.
media coverage.
The evidence are
he
there.
He denied that. He denied that.
There was even an American citizen of Palestinian descent who used to cover this thing, a woman, I can't remember her name now. Very popular, but she was killed. It's a simple googling will tell us. So the fact that somebody is denying, a thief or a criminal denies that it's not a thief, that's not a criminal, doesn't mean that it's not a criminal.
Let me ask you this simple question, Frank.
The answer will determine if it's simple or not.
Should Benjamin Netanyahu listen to the demands of the protesters?
He should. He's their president. He's not presiding to kill them. I'm sure what should be resolved
Should they attend to their demands?
Yeah, not necessarily, because of what I'm going to say now. Because I'm not a spokesman. It's just for the two sides to come together in words to say, this action that I'm about taking is for your benefit. Okay, explain. Or if you go ahead to take this action, our family members that are kept hostage, they may not see them anymore.
Exactly, that's the fear.
So let there be a meeting point.
That's the fear.
So that's why Netanyahu should listen to his people. If any side can convince the other, that should be the whole thing. I think it's simple enough now.
Okay, what do you see as the role of the United States?
U.S. has a stake. You know, at the time in Nigeria here, I think of recent, that's what got Donald Trump angry. That U.S. was accused of supplying things to Boko Haram in the guise of international aid. So the U.S. may be interested in the thing. And their interest does not matter to them. What's going to happen to you, they don't care. If they want it, they get it. And they don't care about the aftermath. So that's why if there's a bad side, that's a bad side of the U.S. So the interest U.S. has for Israel, a lot of Americans, especially those that appear worthy, they are Jews.
Okay.
So maybe they are still looking at blood is thicker than water. So anything that Israel will do, rightly or wrongly, they will not condemn openly. They might come back inside to say, that thing you did was too much.
Well,
but never a time would America openly speak against Israel. They won't.
Well, the United Nations are about this to make sure that there's a safe process in order to make sure that, there are no more loss of civilian lives and the need for, the integrity, the territories, to be protected. But going forward, let's ask our gentlemen just the last questions. We see the challenges, in the Middle East and the need for it not to escalate beyond this. Some fear that this could, send ripples that could lead to another third world war. Do you concur?
Well, I think the world is, apart from Israel and the US, I think the world is weary about war. That's why you are seeing that Palestine is bordered by several Arab or Muslim states. But you're not seeing any one of them. Like Saudi Arabia, it is Egypt, it is Lebanon, it is, of course, you have mentioned Kuwait, Syria, Turkey. All these countries are neighbors to Palestine. But you're not seeing any of them engaging because the world is weary about warfare. So I don't think it's the outset. The only time I had that fear was when the US and Israel attacked Iran and Iraq fired back.
Okay.
That was the only time. But beyond that, I'm not sure Palestine will live. So the world is tired.
Oh, your final remarks.
So basically, I would say that the Palestinian-Israeli war has caused huge humanitarian disaster to the world. A life lost anywhere is a life somewhere. It's a life lost anywhere. 61,000 plus people killed, mostly women and children. Something we should accept. So
unacceptable.
It's not something we should accept. And then we should, if we have given to ourselves the international law as a way of preventing a third world war, international law, international humanitarian law, it behoves of custodians of the international system to ensure that it is implemented. It's not that, okay, when Saddam Hussein does it in Iraq, it's wrong. When Slobodan Milosevic does it in Yugoslavia, it is wrong. But when Benjamin Netanyahu does it in Israel, it is right. No.
You even saw it as ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, it is. So what is wrong is wrong.
Okay, thank you. Let's take your final remarks on that. Yes. But do you see this as ethnic cleansing from the part of
the war is
the
not
Israeli
between
government?
Israel and Palestine. It's not. The war is between Israel and Hamas. Finish. then it's not ethnic cleansing. If it was, why strike at Israel? Why? So you called for the ethnic cleansing. If that was the reason, you're the one that beckoned on them, okay, come and cleanse us. So again, it won't lead to any third war. It won't. Nobody's ready for that. No human being, even Israel, US, they're not ready. Because they have invested everywhere in the world. Nobody will allow it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Big thanks for taking our time to be part of this. Honorable Frank Amigo, lecturer, University of Benin. And of course, big thanks also Ibrahim Momo, a lecturer, Ambrose University. They are all members of the academia. Why? I'm just a media personality. Well, let me shake hands with you.
Thank you very much.
And extend it to him to show that we are not at war.
No.
There's no war in Nigeria.
All right. So this is much we can take. We'll see you sometime next week. Bye for now.